Hey, welcome back. This is Defender Fabrication. My name's Scott, and I want to do something a little different today. I want to take you through what is a kind of a normal day of work here in the shop. I know I mostly do videos on the race car stuff, which, you know, I find more interesting. Maybe you do too. But maybe some people out there might find, you know, how I actually make money and how this shop's profitable. You know, what that entails. So let's do a day of normal work. I cut this stuff out Friday here on the plasma table. It is 1-inch plate, A36, and I make these. They're lugs. I believe they're for attachment of a hydraulic cylinder, and you may not be able to tell, but right here I scribe. These will all get a 2 1/8 inch diameter hole here in this center crosshair, and then every other one will get a hole drilled and tapped on these outside crosshairs for 3/8/16 bolt. So this stuff was all cut out Friday. A normal order for me is 8 of these, 8 of the big ones, and 16 of the small ones. But because of the way they lay out on the sheet, you can see that I get two small ones with each row of the 4 big ones. So I end up with a with 2 extras, depending upon, now normally they don't order these at the same time. It just happened that I got purchase orders on hand that are due, this is Monday at the crack of noon. This stuff's all due Friday. And I just happen to have 2 different purchase orders that include both of these at the same time. So a normal row of the small ones, as you can see, is 8 pieces. Normally they'll order 16 of those at a time. Early on they ordered 8 at a time, and but now for the most part it's they've bumped it up to 16. So I've only run 1 row of the small ones, because by virtue of having run the big ones in the past, I have got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of the small ones. Now some of these I won't use because the plasma cutter kind of screwed up, and like you can see in the corner of this one, now that one I might be able to straighten up, but sometimes they get to looking pretty bad. That's a pretty terrible cut right there. I'm not sure that's worth the time to try to fix. So I may not use these. But what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and process these, get these cleaned up, get all these edges from the cut ground and smooth, and get them center punched for the holes, and then we'll come back and we will shake out this sheet. The 1-inch stuff tends to stick, so I can't just pick these right up out of here. The dross sometimes holds them to the, but you'll see that. We'll get this picked up, we'll get these shook out, and get them on a cart, and then we'll process those through. If we have time, which we won't today, but maybe there'll be another video later in the week, I'm also building a set of belt guards. These all got cut out. The same, when they delivered the 1-inch plate on Friday, they also delivered some 14 gauge, and we'll do those in a separate video probably later in the week. So we'll just see what I can get done today, make that a video, and then we'll go from there. So this will all be time-lapse stuff. So let me get set up, and as I progress through this, we might take a break from the time-lapse, and I'll give you a detail of the steps I'm taking to do these. All right, let's go. I'm not sure if that time-lapse worked or not. If it's not in the video, then you know it didn't work. Hey, I got 8 of them cleaned up. There's 3 that I'm going to throw away. I got 1 more that I haven't done. I'll do it real time just to let you see what I'm going through. I'm just cleaning up the edges, and as soon as we get this one cleaned up, then we'll go clean off those other ones. there's 9. That's 1 extra here, but there's actually 2 extra on that table for the other set of 8, so we'll just have a few extras. I'm going to go ahead and punch all the holes in all of these. That way they're not sitting here unfinished. So let's go shake that 1-inch sheet out and get the rest of these over here and get them cleaned up. So, as I explained before, half of these get center punched in 3 places. The other half only get the center. They all get a 2 1/8" hole here, but these get drilled and tapped for 3/8/16 tap. We're going to go ahead and drill all of these. So we've got 24 times 2, 48 holes to drill. These outside 2 will be 5/16, and we'll drill them all. I'll transfer them all to their cart, and then we'll change over to a chamfering bit. We'll chamfer the holes and get them ready to tap, get them back on this cart, and then we'll go do this hole. Let's get them started. I'll drill a couple, and then we'll change over to time lapse again. Okay, so now we need to chamfer all the holes. I mean, that bit right there has lasted, I don't know how many of these things I've done, but getting a little dull. So we're going to put a single flute, I don't know, what is that, a 3/4 inch, 90-degree chamfering bit. We're going to slow the saw down, or the drill press down a little bit. How about 590? Up in the middle. Now what I'm going to do, let's see. Go ahead. Bring this table up. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm going to bring this down. Then I'm going to set the depth stop. Sheesh, what is it? Maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Excuse me. And if I need a little more depth, then I'll use the table, bring the table up. It's easier to adjust than it is on this Delta drill press to adjust the depth stop. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. All right. So I like that. That looks pretty good. That'll be all right for a 3/16 or 3/8 16 tap. Now what I'm going to do. One way you can screw this up is it leaves a little burr on that bottom side from drilling the hole. So if you put that down, then a lot of times that'll bring the part up and your chamfers won't be the same on each side. Minor issue. But nonetheless, I chamfer these sides first typically and then flip it. So do a couple of these live, and then we'll go to anyway, let's get it. Here's the setup. I've got a couple of these strap clamps. We're on the Bridgeport mill. I have got a 2 1/8 inch angular cutter. I've got it centered up on that center punch that I made earlier, and we're just going to plow through this thing. Well, I don't guess there's nothing to do but maybe just to do it. So I'll do one reel speed, including the changeover to the next part, and then we'll kick it up on fast forward through the rest of them. Got 24 of these to do. one tip I want to add, what I try to do is there is a spring-loaded center in this angular cutter, but it has a little bit of wobble. So the accuracy on this part isn't super critical. It's not like 10/1000ths of an inch. It's more like a 1/16 of an inch. So what I try to do is just get that pretty well centered and center up that play in that pilot. In addition, this clamp, I've noticed that if I place it as close as possible to the edge of this angular cutter, that bird's nest of material that gather on here is minimized. Maybe you'll see that here in the coming cuts. Anyway, this one's ready to go, so let's kick it up on fast forward. Got all the holes drilled. Next step is we're going to put a slate chamfer on that edge. Not called for on the drawing, but all parts should be cleaned and deburred. So because on the back side of the cut it leaves a little bit of a burr, what we're going to do, I have got this tool. It is a tool for chamfering edges of plate, but it works in this case. I've got it set to create a minimal chamfer. It'll just cut that burr off and leave it real slick looking, and you know, it's little touches like that a lot of times that people appreciate. So I like to go ahead and do them. You can do this by hand with a carbide burr or something of that nature, but in reality, this is way quicker. I got the tool, so let's get after it. Okay, here's the last step. Got all those chamfered. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tap all these holes. I got a video on this tool if you're interested in it. It's a tapping arm and makes pretty short work of this. We're just going to dip in a little bit of cutting fluid and get right after it. So let's do it. Just that simple. Wiped everything down, blew all the tapped holes out. There's 4 and 4 of those with the drilled and tapped, 4 with just the 4 and 4 with just the big ones. And here we are with the larger lugs, 4 with just the big hole and 4 with the big hole and drilled and tapped, all ready to go. Hey, listen, appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this or other stuff or whatever. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. See ya.